City of mine, how I love the city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love the city of mine. It never gets me down, yeah.
I was born in the city, I was raised on its edges. My pop worked his life when it's complex. I found love in its center. If I could live here forever, think it'd be for the better. I love the weather, even though it's fog 24/7. I love the people, this is city. I met all my best friends, and I wanna thank every brick. I wanna thank every entrance to every building that I step in this city of mine. I owe you most my best moments in life. See, I fell in love for the first time in Golden Gate Park. I saw my first rap show at Great American Hall. I used to beg my homies for a ride across the bridge to goof off and spend the whole damn day doing whatever we want. Keith drove us down to Ike's place while we roll up a blunt, and me and Jack would get stoned, walk around and get lost. Don't think I'll ever truly pay back all I was lucky to get just by walking through the city. No, I'm a small part of this.
City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down.
I never really had a place to call my own, so I travel and I roam till I find that. But I'm full of adventure, so I wander and I venture, and it's safe to say that really I don't mind that. I book a flight to try to figure where my mind's at, a spot where I don't spend no money, just some time at. I mix and mingle with the people till I learn a little. I brought some weed and baby, maybe we could burn a little. She said you're funny, I said no, I'm Xavier, then I left. Sun shining, birds chirping, let me take a breath. I'm headed to the city where my chance to make it best. What people like to give a little, then you take the rest. I'm hoping one day maybe I can find a place to rest. I fell in love with life and wonder where it take me next. I like the hustle and bustle, I fell in love with the fashion. I feel the pulse of the city, it's moving me like a passion, and it's mine.
How I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine. How I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. Me and my hometown, baby, we go way back. All the situations, circumstances, still we don't mind. Steady going on, I dance around the street lights. Hey, I know every street sign, hanging around the block like if you are my friend, then you are welcome any moment. Yeah, city of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down.
Yurt! Aloha, Ecan fam. Look, I almost forgot my Pride Month hat. Let me throw it back on, because the dome will be glossing and like freaking people out. What is up, family? Welcome to the show, gang. I have a super exciting show today, super exciting guest. We're going to make this mad quick, so I'm going to talk 100 miles an hour, but just try to keep up. If you're new around here, let us know you're new. Pop new in the chat, say hello. The Ohana will come by and give you love. That's what we do, Hawaiian style. That's how we roll. If you're watching this on the replay, pop a replay squad in the comment. Let us know. If you have a question, then still drop a question because I come back, I check. We'll get your question squared away. This is just going to be a dope session. Mad relax. And I kind of have a guest that doesn't need any introduction, but let's get the introduction about. First of all, here's a man who I always respected but absolutely hated because I'm hardcore Raider Nation. And though I grew up in the D.C. area, I'm also a Redskins fan. So I had Patriot, nope, not a fan. Dolphins, whatever. Eagles, hell no. And from DC, hell no. And then he made it to the Redskins, and then I could moonwalk a little bit and be like, all right, that's my dude. Now we cool. I wish he had made it to the Raiders, though. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Bro, can you imagine this man in the back of like a Gannon catch? Oh, come on, son. Anyway, game recognized game, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-American, just all-around cat. And now he is pastor, running his church, doing his things, and about to launch a fire new podcast, which we would talk about without any further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands up for the Reverend Dr. Mr. Irving Fryar. I have like applause and all of that, but I didn't load it up.
You
How
didn't
you
load it
doing,
up.
boss?
No, you are. Listen, Doc. You are the man. I watch you, and your mind. I mean, your recall. You say things, man. That just. I mean, they just baffle me. You have a recall of merchandise and numbers, and you're saying serial numbers and all that stuff. I mean, words that I can't even pronounce. It's amazing, man. You're awesome. It's a privilege to be on your show.
The only thing that's super
Thank you
funny
so
about
much.
that is my algebra teacher in high school used to tell me that smoking weed was going to mess up my memory. You lied,
telling
Miss
me
Rosen.
that
You lied.
smoking weed enhanced your memory?
I don't know. I have no idea. Actually, you know what it was? I believe that memory is a muscle thing, like any other
Yes.
muscle. Like you work out the ball. Like if you study a lot or you just read a lot, your memory just gets better. Like it's not
Yes, it
even
does.
the whole practicing to memorize thing. Just reading a lot in general just helps out your memory. So I was lucky that my birth mom was a bookworm. My grandpa was a bookworm. And like, when I was growing up, Southeast DC, Manhattan, and New York, like you had to hide the fact that you read books, but I did. And which is shameful, but it's the truth. Back then,
Well, yeah,
you had to
it's
hide
all
the
right.
fact that you read these books, right? David, get out of here
listen,
with that.
I almost became a Raider.
Oh, see,
I almost
now we friends.
became a Raider when I retired from the Washington Redskins. When I finally retired from the Washington Redskins, I got a call that off season, about 3/4 of the way through the season. John Gruden was the head coach of the Raiders at the time, and he called me and asked me to come. He needed a punt returner. He wanted me to catch punts for him, and he was going to pay me a full salary, a whole year's salary. The minimum at that time, it was been about $750,000. But I said no. I should have said yes.
Yeah, because then I would have had the jersey.
Well, no. Well, I said, you know why I said no? I said no at the time, and I'm not saying this to be funny. This is just reality. Or I'm not saying this to be demonstrative or derogatory in any kind of way. But this is just, I said no because at the time, the woman I was married to didn't want me to go. Now she divorced me, so I should have went.
I cannot tell you how many brothers I know that have made these decisions based on, some person telling them whatever. And I get it. Like you're young, like,
you're trying to keep the family. Well, I had been married she was with me the whole time I was in the NFL. So I'd been married for over, 20 years. So, it wasn't that I was young and in love. I was just trying to make sure I did the right thing or wanted to do the right thing for my family. But she ended up divorcing me anyway. So I should have went. Shoot.
Yeah, and then Chucky made a name for herself. I'm happy to have Chucky back. Let's just be honest. Okay, we promise we won't turn this into an entire sports ball thing. The ladies and some of the people in our chat will be mad at us. I see my family is going off, and the best part is they're talking to each other. That's honestly, I swear to you, one of the favorite parts of being a live streamer is watching my community actually communicate with each other. Like to them
good.
coming to the streams to hang out as this is part of their situation. Like I really love it. And Rob, stop teasing my beard. Oh, first of all, let me tell you.
We actually look like we could be related.
I was going to say, the
I
thing that's going to set you apart is I tell everybody the secret formula to winning at any of the streaming stuff is you have to have the triumvirate. Bald, bearded, and bespectacled, and you got it. So
Hello.
That covers David, that covers Keith, that covers a lot of
I'm
our
in.
people.
I'm
so
in.
we're in.
Yes,
We're
sir.
good. Aubrey, you can't grow a beard, but you got the sides cut a little bit, and then you got the specs, so you're on the team, Aubrey. And what's up, Tommy? Tommy is visiting us all the way from England, and this is the beautiful Sylvia who I was talking to you about earlier. So as you do your thing and you want to get merch for your podcast, this is the lady I'm gonna link you up with. And Sylvia, I'll be sending you a message. We want to send him a box of Ecamm and Doc stuff so that he can look, extra gorgeous. And yeah,
Extra gorgeous.
There you go. Yeah,
You got to send me extra stuff then because you got extra.
They made this for me. This is my intent.
Nice.
right? Because that's my mission: do things with intent and purpose. And I got this today. I decided to rock the Keely Dunn color because she's my homie. She's in the chat as FH umpires. Who everyone reads it as Humphreys. I don't know why, but hey, come on, Keith, stay out of this. You stop making trouble, bro. I know you
what
all
Keith
about these Eagles. He said, "Let's vote today. We like Irving from Patriots, Dolphins, Eagles, and Redskins." And so
ask me which team was my favorite team.
Okay, I'm curious. I'll bite. I mean, dude. Okay. Okay. After the month, go ahead. I want to hear yours, and I'll tell you what I think.
Well, let me give you. I'll give you one guess. So I played college ball, University of Nebraska in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. Then I went and played 9 years up in New England, near Boston. Then I played from there. I went to Miami, and then I came back to Philly. And then I played in Washington. So which would you guess? I'll give you one guess. Do you think was my favorite place to play?
Well, considering the Philly fans are brutal, but that has to be as energizing as all get to play in because they're crazy. But that has to be fun.
Miami was my favorite place to play.
Oh, yeah, I guess because you was in the cold all that time.
Right. Miami was like dying and going not to hell, but to heaven.
That makes sense. Because it is definitely freaking freezing everywhere else except Miami. Okay,
yes.
Here's something that I think I love. I completely remember the 86 Bears, the Super Bowl Bears. I absolutely despised them at the time. And what's crazy is this was prior to the Patriots dynasty that became thanks to us Raiders. We will get into that. But the only one person to score against the 86 Bears in the Super Bowl is that man right there. The only one touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing you bring that up. I watched that game probably. It came on TV. I don't know on probably a History Channel.
It's a History Channel.
A couple of months ago, it came on. My wife and I sat and we watched it. And man, I didn't realize we played as bad. I mean, it was like schlep rock. If a thing could go wrong,
dude, you let the fridge score a touchdown. It said history.
The fridge. First of all, the fridge knocked our line. If you watch that again, Larry McGruder was the linebacker that hit him, met him at the line of scrimmage or at the goal line. The fridge knocked him out of the game, knocked him out of the game. It was a brutal hit trying to tackle that refrigerator. But yes, we played bad. I mean, guys were dropping balls who never dropped balls. Guys were fumbling balls who never fumbled the ball. The quarterback was throwing the ball to the other people in the other uniforms. We played bad. We did. We really played bad. Obviously, they played well too. They had something to do with it.
But you had the benefit of saying something not a lot of people can say.
Right.
You scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, fam.
Yes.
So everything you do after that is just gravy. This is the kind of stuff that I try to explain to my friends.
You want to win. You want to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. You want to win the Super Bowl. You don't just want to score a touchdown. But scoring a touchdown, yes, that's great. And yes, anything after that is gravy. But it was a bittersweet because we got our behinds massacred. At the time, it was the worst loss in Super Bowl history. There have been a couple of losses that have been worse than ours since then. But ours, we set a record that night.
At least your boys came back because Atlanta made the Patriots look like heroes, bro. After they screwed up a 28-point lead, that's just embarrassing.
That's right. All
right,
we
so
look so bad.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing with your podcast, and let's just start with that. What are you doing with your podcast?
Well, can I tell you how I got started with Cam?
Oh,
can I start there?
Absolutely. That would be dope. Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. You know, the purple cover on the SM7B. Yeah, like
thank
twins,
you, Dr.
like
Keith.
that. Yeah, thanks to Keith. And that's how I got started with Ecamm. I was when the pandemic hit. Obviously, being a pastor, churches and all, we had to establish, if we hadn't already, we had to establish some kind of online presence to maintain our churches. So we started out actually with a telephone, my phone. We were filming it. We have church on Saturdays. We're not Saturday Sabbath day worshipers or Seventh Day Adventists. We worship on Saturday. We can't wait until Sunday after having gone through a whole week in this hellish world. So we have church on Saturday. So now Sundays, Sundays I get a chance to sit back and watch what other churches, pastors are doing on Sunday morning. So first few weeks of the pandemic, I'm watching, some pastor friends of mine, and I'm watching Keith. So Keith is in the church. He's using what looks like what we're using. I don't know if he's using a phone or if he's using an iPad or something like that, something around that nature. So that's what it looks like and that's what it sounds like. So, I'm kind of comparing because everything to me is a competition. You got to make sure you're competing at the level that you need to be competing at so you can be as productive as you possibly can make yourself. So I go a few weeks watching Keith like that. Then I must have missed a couple of weeks. Then I come back and I turn him on Sunday morning and he's like this, like we are. It's a great picture and the sound is awesome. He's sitting down at a desk and man, he got swag. And then
he come by with the slider, like zzz.
Yeah, the camera's moving. I'm like, what in Jesus' name is going on? So I called him. I said, what are you doing? I saw that you were in the church. Now you're not in the church. What's going on? So he told me, Ecam sent me a wish list because I told him, I said, listen, that's what I want to do. We already have our church. We're working on our church, getting it set up so we can be virtual. We got cameras and all that kind of stuff. We got that going on now. Now I want the same quality for my Bible study. I'm going to set this up here at my home. So he sent me a wish list with the mic and the camera and the Rodecaster Pro and all. And that's how I started out. And I started out doing my Bible study with the teleprompter and all, the glide gear. And God pricked my heart and told me, start doing a podcast. So I just kept building and kept building and kept building until finally the Lord gave me a date, July 2nd. This is what you're going to call it. You're going to call it the Fryar Place, where the conversations are fire. And you're going to link in different former teammates of yours, former NFL players. We're going to do some people. I have a guy by the name of Reggie Dobbs, who's coming on in August, who's the #1 youth speaker in the world. This cat is absolutely awesome. So I have connections and arms that I can reach out and bring people in that will create great content, create a good show. And my first two guests on the Fryar Place, which will start in July, on July 2nd, there'll be Fridays at noon. My first two guests, one is Ricky Simmons. He's a former teammate of mine who ended up being a wide receiver in the USFL. And then Tony Collins is my second guest, the second Friday in July. He's a former Pro Bowl running back from the Patriots. The theme for those first two is from the NFL to the prison cell then and now. And now they've had that journey. Me also, I've had that journey as well. So it's going to be very good conversation. It's going to be fire in the Fryar Place.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah,
man, that's incredible. And just to think that a simple conversation with Keith of all people, which is never a simple conversation because that's my dude, but we just be cracking up laughing, dude. My first meeting with Keith, he was getting his Ecamm on. I was trying to help him out, set up a couple things. And then we got to talking, and then come to find, he said, oh yeah, my wife, and she likes to get into these things, and she from DC. I was like, where from in DC? And then Tina pushed Keith out the way, and me and her, we had a conversation by ourselves. It's like, yo,
I heard
from around
you two
the
were
same
from the
way.
same place, yeah.
And like we would have been on rivaling streets, but I just know that we stomped the same grounds at the same time.
Wow.
Like she would have been like with my older sister's clique, just because of the way the girls were back then. But yeah, it was just nuts. And then so we came instant
Small
homies.
world.
Cause it's so crazy, bro. So crazy.
Small world. Yeah. So that's how we got started. That's where we're going. Actually, last week, and this is what I told you earlier before we went live. Last week, I had the opportunity to meet with a group that has a podcast radio show called the Green Legion. They are a Philadelphia sports podcast radio show. They have over 100,000 subscribers. And they are going to, not only when I'm live on my YouTube channel, which is the Fryar Place, we've established it. I have to send out a live link because you can't go, as well as I do and it's got to wait 30 days before you can customize it. So it's within the first 30 days. So I have to send out a live link. People can't just go to the fireplace. But when I'm live on the fireplace, noon on Fridays, I will also be live on that platform, the Green Legion, which is over 100,000 people. And then when it posts, when we finish on my YouTube and on the Legion page, then it will go to iHeartRadio because they're connected to Fox Sports, and it's going to post on iHeartRadio. So I'm on the Green Legion, I'm on YouTube before I even get on, and I'm on iHeartRadio. So the fireplace prayerfully is going to pop off and be of some good to people. We don't want to just come on and be live and just talk about nothing. We want to encourage people. We want to make sure we have great content that helps to inform people. I'm going to do a podcast where, we talk about, one of the things that caused my mishap, and one of the reasons I ended up in prison was because of my lack of financial knowledge, what I did not know about finances. And that's how I got duped and ended up in prison. So that's going to be one of our shows to help people give them the knowledge.
You just gave me an idea. Okay, I got to hook you up with my little sister. She's an e-camera. She's banging. Her name is India Delgado. We call her India America to piss her off. She is a mortgage broker now, but one of her missions is to teach financial literacy for the Black and Latinx community, because again, it's something that we don't learn, and it kind of like it starts to get you in trouble.
It kills us.
Just don't know.
I mean, just our credit scores alone, knowing how to manage that, knowing what is beneficial to us and what hurts us in terms of what we do with our credit scores, credit cards, and all that kind of stuff. Just that in and alone will make our lives a lot easier. Just knowing what 100%. To do and how that works. Yeah.
100%.
But here's the interesting thing about the credit bureaus. I'm just going to ask you a question. You can put it out there to the people. Now, you have a credit score, right? You have Experian, Equifax, right?
Experian, Equifax, TransUnion.
And TransUnion. You have a credit score. Now, did you ever, they got your social security number. Did you ever sign anything that gave them permission to have your social security number so they can keep a credit score on you?
I did, because I got that lock on my credit file, but normally
No. When you were born.
Oh, no, not at all.
When you were born. When we're born, we get a social security number, and those credit bureaus, that's some parents take their kids' credit in their credit score and their credit numbers and use them. Yes. So you're assigned a social security number, and the credit bureaus get your social security number. But you never signed anything giving them permission to keep a credit score on you.
It's funny because when I got out of college and I was doing all kind of myriad crazy things, and I hit like that rock bottom, my joint was like 520 something. I discovered that you could actually control it. Right.
Yes.
And the reason why a lot of people don't, because back then it used to be like $40-$50 to get an account with one of these joints, and then you can look and then you can control it. Since then, the government has opened up and be like, you can get your joints for free, all three once a year, things like that. Mm-hmm. But then a lot of people are like, I'm not giving them $40, blah, blah, blah. But that $40 is stopping you from the next 40,000. Like, you didn't even get it because we were never taught that. So once I learned, I was lucky. Dude, this is so crazy. I met this mentor guy. I met him in the bar. I was at one of these like get your act together seminar type things, right? And I was in there like studying. There's a dude who makes a dope book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and his name is T. Harv Eker. So I went to one of his seminars, and his conversation is about like how we grew up thinking dirty money, money's the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees. All these little dumb idioms that people say actually form our horrible relationship with cash. Yes. Right? Yes. The other things like, or if you see a penny on the ground and you pick it up, then you're like, some kind of weirdo because you're picking up pennies from the ground. Like all these negative statements about cash flow. So the first process in this book is to try to get you out of that. Think of money in a positive light. And then so the second process is just learning you how to reformulate your relationship with cash. Most of our horrible relationship with cash comes from our parents and their mismanagement, right? And then so just like people who abuse people, we also bring that to our next self because for whatever reason we pick it up. So once I learned this stuff, I was at one of his seminars, I was sitting in the bar like thinking like, okay, how am I going to put some of these things into action? And this OG was in the bar, like white hair, white beard, everything. OG
Kind of look like us, huh?
Yeah, kind of super thick, super thick, like Oklahoma accent. Sits down. He's like, "Hey, son, can I sit down with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, come on, bro." So we sit down, we're talking story, and dude's he's wearing a shirt exactly like you, but it was just black, right? And just like, first of all, I'm like, this is a cool old dude, because like not a lot of old dudes would rock a shirt like that. But he was sitting there, he looked kind of clean. He had the fat rollie, and so we was talking story, and he's like, if you could do anything right now, what would you do? And I was like, I think I got the majority of it on point. I just need a mentor. I need like a millionaire mentor, not to ask them for money or do anything like that, but just to help me guide in the right direction, blah, blah. I tell him this long story. And then he was like, yeah, let me help you right now. And I was like, what's that? He goes, your thinking is too small. And I was like, what? And he goes, your thinking is too small. Change your sentence. And I was like, okay, I need a billionaire mentor. And he goes, hi, my name is Bill Bartman. Call me whenever you need. And then he walked away. He covered my vodka as Ciroc and soda. I used to call it Ciroc Obama. He covered my drink, and then the next day I'm in the seminar. They call up the speaker, do the announcement like I just did you, and Bill comes walking out. He's the freaking speaker. He owned the thing that buys the bad credit debt from the companies and then does the collections. And the reason why he did that, he used to own oil companies in Texas and in Oklahoma. And there was something that happened where his partner like left, and he got stuck in a position where he owed lots of money, and the creditor people would call him and cuss him out and say mean things and say what an a-hole he was. And here's a guy, he's like, yo, I'm a religious man. I'm a wife and my kids. Like, they treated me like I was nobody. And 3 days ago, when I'm a billionaire, everybody wanted to be my friend. So what he did was he went and told the bank that he owed money to. He goes, let me collect it for you. I'll do it nicely. I'll get you more money and whatever. And that eventually turned into a business. So he became one of the largest debt tracers in the planet, and eventually sold his business to Visa for something like $4 billion. It's crazy.
What a story.
And so until he was no longer with us, I can call him at any time and just like, I got an idea. I never asked him for money or anything like that, but he was the guy that helped me adjust my relationship and get into knowing why I had to serve and teach people things and all of the above. So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah,
like
it's
when
amazing.
you say that, that's crazy, boss.
And it's just a small world. It's a small world.
That's why I tell my people, like, watch what you're thinking, and then when they say you can't, I'm like, you're a mom with 3 kids. What you mean you can't? You done already did the hardest joints in the world.
Yeah. See, I can't do this no more. Well, you've been doing it. What do you mean you can't do it anymore? You've been doing it. Can't take care of these kids anymore. You've been taking care of them. Just keep it up.
I'm proud to say I'm slowly pressing that 800. Like I got 799 and then it got knocked back and I couldn't figure out why. They really don't want you to get to 800, but coming from the bottom and getting that close, I feel good.
Yeah.
All right,
at
so
800, you're telling them what you're going to do.
Exactly. You can just kind of call your own shots and stuff that. Man,
That's right.
It's crazy. And, I appreciate the fact that, you took your situation and now you're using it to teach, right? If it's not too much, do you mind explaining like how or why you got into it, or, do you not want to touch that?
Into what? Into prison?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all.
It was respectful around here.
No,
man. Not like Rob. I'm teasing Rob.
Listen, it's not like it's not documented. I mean, obviously things are embellished, and the whole, all of the facts, I should say, are not always revealed when things come out in the media. But it was, I think it was October, it was 2015, late 2014, when this whole scenario came down. Long story short, there was a fraternity brother of mine that I was doing business with. Obviously, in business, money's exchanged between one another. He ended up doing some things with banks that were fraudulent. At the time he was doing that, my mother's property, she was supposed to be buying from him. It was a property that my sister left town and he took over, and he built it up, or I should say refurbished it, and moved my mother in there and let her live there for a little while. But then he said, okay, it's time for her to get a mortgage. So I gave him access to her, and he was going around getting a mortgage for her. Little did we know he got 3 or 4 or 5 mortgages on that same house. He ended up getting caught and being sentenced by the federal government. Somehow, some way, he put my name in it. And I was not able to prove, or at least I thought I did prove, that I did not, oh, my camera went out, that I did not, no, I'm saying my screen went out, I went to sleep, I got it, that I did not have anything to do with it. So they put me in prison because they convicted me, not that I got the money, because I didn't get the money that he got from the loans, but they said I knew what he was doing and didn't say anything.
Like I was the mastermind. Because you were the bigger fish, and that's the whole reason why he sold that story in the first place. That's just the way it works.
You can see that, and if you were in the courtroom, and I don't want to do this as I tell my story, because I am going to tell my story over time in the podcast, but I'm not going to go around touting, oh, I'm innocent, I didn't do it. I'm not doing that because people don't want to hear that. Even if it did go to trial and I was found innocent, there will still be some people that would say, well, he was guilty, he just bought his way out of. So I'm just going to give the facts over time that people can go back and research themselves and let them come to their own conclusion. Because right before the judge sentenced me, the judge said, Mr. Fryar, I would have found you innocent. I would have found you innocent. And I said, well, if you would have found me innocent, why are you treating me like I'm guilty? And all the way up until I was sentenced, I never thought I was going to prison because it was so obvious that this shenanigans was going on, that things were not what the prosecutor was painting them out to be. That's one of the reasons I didn't get on the stand to testify, which I should have done. Plus, my attorney, man, you won't believe this, Doc. My attorney sucked. My attorney, I look back on it, and I've never said this before. You the first one. My attorneys suck. Here's how bad my attorney was. My attorney was so bad that the firm that he worked for fired him when I was convicted and didn't charge me.
Oh,
that's how bad he was. They fired him and didn't charge me. Listen, it was just like, you won't believe this. It was, if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't say this, but it was exactly, you ever seen my cousin Vinny?
Yes.
The attorney in there, the first attorney, one of the guys, one of the young cats that was on trial.
The two youths.
The two youths. Yeah. The guy that comes up, he was okay. He was okay when he first talking and outside the courtroom doing his research and all that kind of stuff. My attorney was just like that. But when he got in the courtroom, man, he was a stuttering idiot, an absolute stuttering. And I'm like, oh my goodness, for real? He was a former federal prosecutor. I should have known something was wrong.
It's kind of crazy how things like this play out, and it's also kind of crazy that they're the cats that are out here right now doing things like this, but because they're in a prominent space, they get away with it. You know, I saw a really, there's an incredible documentary on Netflix talking about some of the housing projects in Baltimore. It wasn't too far from where I grew up as a kid, and how these guys, they get, you know, they buy it for super cheap. They buy it off some auction block. They barely slap paint on it. They get federal money saying that they're going to Section 8 it, and then they treat the people like dirt. Then come to find out these dudes don't even have any money. Like, they're just lying. And then they get out of it, and then they get a loan to get out of it from the government. And I'm like, and then you get in trouble for something like, I mean, so the system is whack, which is why, folks, you do have to take it on yourself to learn. If nothing else, you know, hit up our girl India and get a little bit of financial literacy in your pocket, because it's definitely a game changer.
And my problem was, or the issue was, he was a fraternity brother, or he still is a fraternity brother. So I trusted him. I knew this guy. We did business together over time. So it wasn't like he had done anything wrong to me. So I trusted him, and I allowed him to have access to my mother, which, you know, she was supposed to be buying the house. And I didn't check up on him. And then before I knew it, you know, these people are coming to my door, and there's a problem, there's a case, you're being indicted. And then when I got indicted, to make matters even worse, my wife of 28 years filed for divorce.
That's crazy.
So I was in prison when the divorce finally was final. They brought me from prison in Orange, shackled. They treated me like I was a murderer too. I was shackled at my feet.
Oh, that's
shackled
why
at
you
my
don't like
waist,
the
shackled
color
at my
orange.
hands.
When I said that's
Yeah,
one of
we're
my
not doing
favorite
orange.
colors.
Yeah, no. We don't. I don't do orange. I don't do orange, and I don't do plastic forks or plastic spoons or paper products. I don't do none of that.
Well, you shouldn't do
since
plastic
prison.
anyway because it's bad for the planet. I'll send you some bamboo joints from Hawaii.
Yeah, send me some bamboo.
Carmen said, now this is my girl Carmen. I absolutely love her to death. She's a pastor as well. She said, at what point in your journey did you answer the call to pastoring? Good question, Carmelita.
Well, I answered the call, first of all, to preach when I was 27 years old, when I got saved. I already knew that the Lord was calling me to preach. But again, like I said, I had some psychological and some emotional issues that I was dealing with as a young man.
Did you run the prayers for the games right before the games and stuff?
Once I got saved and turned my life over to the Lord, and I became a licensed minister at the age of 27, which was a couple of years before I left New England. Yes, I would pray. It was a little bit tough in New England at first because I had, not that I had to prove anything to the guys who were on the team, but the guys on the team at the time before I got saved, they saw me acting the fool. They saw some of the things that I did before I got saved. So coming and saying I'm saved and, let's pray, that was not something that I did frequently or did too openly while I was still in New England. But when I left New England, my life had settled down and I had settled down, and things had become better for me in terms of, my actions with regards to my thoughts. And I was able to move forward in Miami, yes, minister to the guys and be a part of the guys spiritually in their spiritual life. So when I retired, see, he didn't know Jesus on the page.
That's why they lost that 87 Super Bowl, yo.
Yeah. So when I retired, and I actually was working as a sports caster for ABC here in Philadelphia, a sports analyst for CNN, the Lord called me to pastor. I heard his voice clearly. He says, time to start your church. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. So in 2003, which was about 3 years after I retired, is when I answered the call to pastor. I've been pastoring ever since. June is our 18th year anniversary. So we're celebrating 18 years of pastoring and churching at the New Jerusalem in Mount Holly. As a matter of fact, Keith is preaching for us on Saturday. He's closing out the month for us on Saturday.
You
so
better
pray for
extend
Keith.
the session. You ever seen that dude do the Baptist preacher ending? It'll be like 3 hours long. Get extra
He'll be
batteries
all right.
for your cameras. Get everything.
He'll be all right. I love Keith's preaching. That's why I would watch him on Sundays.
He's the
and listen,
man. Sneaker preach
listen,
is the king. He will bust.
sneaker
He
preach.
was, oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Oh.
Pastor Keith is sneaker preach champion, bro.
Yeah. And listen, I want to say this. If I had not gone to prison, if that whole thing didn't happen, I wouldn't be doing this right now.
Yes.
I wouldn't be
Okay, so
doing
here's
this
the
right
thing
now.
that's super funny, and I'll say this to my brother right here, Jeff K. First of all, wagwan, where you going? Smile yourself up, man. All right, so here's the funny thing to me. I profess to my community because of my upbringing, because of the folks around me when I was a kid. I'm like super anti-church, right? Just have been, whatever. The funniest thing is my grandma used to always tell me, boy, the Lord gonna come and get you one day. And I'm like, nope, I ain't having it. I'm out. Y'all done messed up my whole world with this mess. Here I stand. I run a group with about 700 people in it. And I would say 60% of them are pious, running churches, doing things. And like I'm leading them to produce better shows and produce, better church and stuff like that. And then so one day in Vlogmas, I was sitting down and I just had to think. I was like, my grandma done reached down, grab me by the ear and be like, told you. I told you. So it's like
However
if
the
my
Lord-
mom and my grandma could see me right now leading like you and then Carmen and Pastor Keith and like David and all of the people that are in my stream that run churches and do things like that, my mom and my grandmother would be tripping right now. They're probably upstairs right now doing a little dance. The hat got that
There you
powder
go.
blue joint, and moms used to wear the joint like that with the big flower, and them damn white church shoes. They over there doing it right now. They get in the hoop trigger.
Whichever
boy.
way we can get you.
Yeah, like
However
I
we can
told
get you.
So they, it's funny. So I'm with you, JFK. Like, I wouldn't go out and absolutely say I call myself a religious person, but I'm not against anyone that is. I don't think it's my position to try to coach them straight or whatever, or them coach me straight. And it's my troubles I had growing up in a corrupt church. And so after that, like, and I went to Catholic school my whole life. So yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But if my mission is to help y'all serve, then I'm doing, I guess, what my
You're
grandma
doing a
told me I was
phenomenal
fit
job.
to be doing. So
you're doing a phenomenal job.
And then every time I have a rant, Keith always tells me that I'm sneaker preaching, and I'm like, look, dude, stop saying that. You messing up
For the anti-church guy, all
yeah, see,
Lord have mercy.
oh yeah, let me put it back where he said. Yeah, see, I know, right? I know. Stop it, Keith, you troublemaker. Troublemaker. And then Chocolate Twist Yoga, who is seriously one of the coolest people in the world. She said trauma is real. How does that inform how you deliver your message to your people?
Oh, because I've lived it. It when we're talking about overcoming trials and tribulations and life's pains and all this stuff that comes at you at the same time. Just because we're Christians, that doesn't make us exempt from trouble. You can be sitting in your home and trouble will knock on your door. I can remember during the wintertime, I was sitting in my house, minding my own business, and a cop came and gave me a ticket outside in front of my house for no reason at all. And then when the ticket was expunged, when I proved that I was in the right kind of parking space, that was my parking space, here's what the police said. The judge said, we're going to dismiss this for lack of evidence. Well, that sounds like I did something. You just didn't have the evidence to prove it. No, the cop screwed up. I couldn't believe that. So yes, because I've lived it, it's when I preach, it's from the heart. People know that I mean it. People can feel what I'm saying, not just hear what I'm saying, but they can feel what I'm saying because it comes from experience. It's not because I read it. It's not because I heard it. It's not because somebody said it. It's because I've lived it. And that's the best teacher. That's the best voice, the voice of experience.
Yes, true story. And your experiences can go a long way when you remember to share them. Because sometimes what happens to experiences when you don't share them is they just become bottled up memories. So I think that's one of the reasons why my goal is to teach people to start sharing these stories, because somebody else needs to hear you from you. I don't even remember the whole thing because I kind of watched it when I was in the hospital and I was highly sedated. But there's an ESPN, I believe it's a 30 for 30 or something like that, or ESPN 60, where they discussed the amount of NFL players who get caught in these fly-by-night financial schemes from these, wannabe fake advisors. And there's relatively big cats that get caught up in some jacked up situations listening to bad advisors, right? So, man, I can't remember. One of the bigger quarterbacks was one of the first ones that got majorly duped by this guy that was doing like an NFL Ponzi scheme or whatever. And it's crazy to see that there's people out here preying on players, and these guys are young. You just made it out of the hood. You got your first loot. You out here doing things, and then they're suckering people, and these people end up losing millions and millions of dollars. And so you even having the ability in a smaller scale to teach this stuff to just regular folks. Is powerful. It's extremely powerful. But do you ever feel like you need to go back and talk to the young kids that come out? They just got that first, signing bonus. You ever reach out to cats and be like, let me explain you, look at this news article. Let me explain you. Here's what you watch out for. You ever think about doing that?
That's something I would like to do. Unfortunately, Doc, when I became a felon, let me just say it like it is. When I became a felon, a lot of people, a lot of organizations disassociated themselves with me. One being the NFL. I used to be a transition coach for the NFL. I trained as a transitional coach, and that is a coach who helps former players transition from the NFL into real life, so to speak. And then those who are coming from college into the NFL, we help them transition make that transition. And I trained in, finances and crisis management, suicide prevention, all those different areas I was trained in. I was a transitional coach. But when I was convicted, sent to prison, I came out, made a phone call, and they didn't want to have anything to do with me. So yes, that's something I want to continue to do, is to spread that message, again, particularly because I've been through it myself, and I really can speak from experience in regards to what to look for and what not to do, and how to handle yourself in situations like that. But I'm going to use this platform in terms of my my podcast. I'm going to use this platform to spread that message, to send that message, to get it across.
You know what it is. Here's why the connection just clicked in my head. Your quarterback was the one who got jacked.
My quarterback, which one was that?
Ty. Ty was the one that got jacked.
Ty Detmer?
Yeah, in the Ponzi scheme.
When? I didn't know that.
Ty was the one, because Ty was the one they used to drop biscuits to you and your ass be on ESPN every damn night, making me mad. It was just like, damn it, Fryar, here we go again. Damn it, I lost some more money. Back then, I might have been running some special kind of thing where people would decide whether you were going to win or lose a game, and I would decide whether or not they owed me money. Let's just leave it at that. That was my sin at the time. That's crazy, boss. Yeah. So yeah, Ty was the one that got caught up in it, and the documentary was around him and a bunch of other players at the same time in that frame.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, but that mess is nuts. So I appreciate what you're doing to try to teach people, and then just spread your word. And here's the cool part: left, right, or indifferent. So my grandmother used to say this. She swears it's an old Puerto Rican proverb. I swear to she stole it from somewhere and just made it her own. But the higher the monkey climbed the mountain, the more his ass is exposed, right? And the first
well,
time,
you know what? That's what I say too. I say the higher you go up on the ladder, the more your behind is exposed.
Yeah. So my grandma said, because that's the reason why, like back when Clinton got in his little mess, there's dudes all around the country doing that mess to this day and nobody cares. But because he was the president, it was the end all be all, and people wanted to talk about it. And, no concept of, whatever else was going on in the world or whatever else was going on in his life or whatever like that. Or Monica's life or Hillary's life or whatever the situation is.
Well, the Bible says when we judge other people, all we do is commit self-condemnation. We're actually judging things about other people that we don't really like about ourselves.
True story. That's like when we say you point one, you got 3 or 4 pointing
back at you. You got 4 pointing back at you. That's
same
right.
idea. That is definitely the same idea. Man, it's super crazy. So first of all, your mission is incredible. Like, I'm super happy to have you part of the ECAM family, as we call it. Because
ECAM, yeah.
I mean, like, you are going to be able to share stories, man, that you don't even realize you're going to help folks out with.
And let me say this about ECAM, because Doc, you are, first of all, you're the man. You're the tech man, but you're a cool techie guy. Most techie guys are nerds. You're not a nerd. You're cool. We can hang out. Love you. But I am 58 years old. I just started this. Let me see. It's probably been maybe 4 months now that I really have been into this. About 4 months. And I am low tech. I mean, just above no tech. If I can do this ECAM, listen, if I can do this ECAM, anybody can do this. I'm telling you. Doing overlays, putting scenes together, doing this podcast, getting the right equipment. Man, I changed my lights about 4 times so far. I'm still not finished changing them because it just is not what I want yet. But if I can do this, man, anybody can do this. Yes, you do need a little help based on your vision probably, but this ECAM is the bomb. It just is. It's the bomb. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. We're going to have to get us like a special ECAM commercial starring the Reverend Dr. Irving Fryar. And the boy, the ECAM's out of New England, right?
ECAM's out of New England?
Yeah, it's out of...
okay, I didn't know that.
It's out of, what do you call that? North Andover. So like right up the street from Boston. So yeah, the boys would like love it. And it's like, all right, I see how you do. Again, it's funny to me when we look at the myriad of people that we have using ECAM and how it covers all walks of life. We got like my boy Tommy, who's in our group, who's like I can never say magician. It always wants to come out as musician.
He's a
We got
magic
lots of
guy. God does
musicians
magic.
like Keith, right? We got, guys that come from being gamers and then they turn into just like regular streamers. Talking about incredible nerds here, my buddy Jeremy Dunn down here, he's an amazing nerd kid, who runs his music sessions and his church things all through Ecamm. He's doing good. Kevin and his wife, he helps her produce videos about her weight loss journey. She's lost over 100 pounds, and you talk about very powerful, touching stories, and you're able to just share these stories with the world. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a good thing, man. It's pretty crazy. And
I love it. I'm excited.
Andrew said God had bigger plans for you and your audience to reach. So there you go.
Thank you.
Man,
And I'm gonna keep
once
on.
you link up with them, you're going to be incredible. Sylvia, who's part of their team. So that's Andrew typing right there. Sylvia's in there as Sylvia Nixon, but they're a husband and wife squad. She actually could help you get your story out into a book. So you basically record all your podcasts and stuff, and then we'll show you how to take those podcasts and get them transcribed, and then you can make adjustments and you just turn the whole thing into a book. So if you got a book you want to get out, she will help you. She's
Okay.
They're the truth. They're absolutely.
Let's get it done.
Hey, Noah, good to see you here. Noah's my homie from around the way. He's here. He actually lives here in Hawaii with me. So, yeah.
So he's saying
speaking
you're
of
a
which,
nerd.
You've been here a lot because you was 5 times Pro Bowl down the street from my house.
Yes. I
So
loved
we've
it
been
out
in the
there.
same island many times.
Yes. But you know what? The last time I was there was after I retired. I went to do a retired players competition in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, the one in Waikiki where they do the
man, it's crowded there now. Oh, my gosh.
Nuts.
It's
absolutely
It was like
nuts.
New York.
Hey, everybody in the Ecamm family, it's time to drink. Get your glasses and let's have a drink. We said every time somebody mentions, will Ecamm make it to the iPad, we're going to have us a beverage. So hopefully, JFK, hopefully it's coming. Turns out, and I know this messes people up, because the Macs have M1 chips now, the Mini, the notebooks, the Air, the MacBook Pro, the iMac, they all have M1s. The iPad now has an M1. But however, the language between iPad OS and Mac OS is very different. It's similar to someone telling me, oh, don't you speak Mexican? No. First of all, I speak Spanish. Number 2, I'm Puerto Rican, so I don't understand things Mexicans say. I got a large portion of it, but there's portions of it that's different, And then you add the fact that it's just mixed in with living in Hawaii for 40-some years. My Spanish is horrible nowadays. So, yeah, it's not exactly the thing, but trust me, if the boys can do it, they will. Because they're just incredible like that. And, when people say, hey, I need this thing because I can't do this, and they think about it, and if it makes sense, it's in the update a week later. They're incredible. That's how we got here right now, actually, because you couldn't get cam links or you couldn't get capture cards. So they made it so that you can take the USB cable out of most cameras and just connect it. And then now everybody does it, but in the beginning, it was just them. They're super good at it.
Right. Wow.
Man, so let me show folks a little quick thing about your podcast. This is going to be it, gang. You're going to want to make sure you're paying attention. And I love the name, bro, the Fryar Place. That is super, super awesome. And like you said, July 2nd, which is 2 weeks, we got Ricky Simmons coming in here. And then after that, we're going to have Tony Collins. And, man, this is incredible. The artwork game is just super dope. Who did that for you?
That's my guy. His name is Lou Rogers. He works with me at my church. Yeah,
he's good.
He does all my audio video. Yeah, he does a good job. My third week, I'm going to have the Marx brothers on, both Mark Duper and Mark Clayton at the same time.
Oh, bruh. Oh,
and then my fourth week, I'm going to have Andre Reed.
Dudes I love to hate.
Andre Reed's going to be on my podcast my fourth week.
Oh, my, Andre Reed. Oh my goodness. Oh, see, this is cool because you're getting the link up with cats that people that are listening will know and recognize, but you get to hear the human side of them, which doesn't always work. I swear, in a strange way, the system is set up to pump you as high as we can pump you, and as soon as we got there, attempt to swat you back down.
Cut your legs right out from underneath. Build them up.
We've seen it
chop
with
them down.
Magic. We've seen it with Dr. J. We've seen it with Iverson. We've seen it with everybody. Even LeBron, like he makes it all the way up. Let's try to knock him down. They tried to do it to Kobe. Sad to
That's
see
what
him
we
not
do
here.
in this country. That's what we do in this
What
country.
is it
That's a
about
pattern that we have. Yeah, we do it to our politicians.
Oh, that's funny. Here's a guy that I want to introduce you to as well. This is my boy David. David does kind of like the Green Legion you're speaking of. He does that for the Purple People Leaders up in the frozen tundra.
Oh, Minnesota.
So yeah, his show is like all Vikings, everything, and they have incredible stream. And they get on, it's like for them, and they're talking about everything from what's going on to the draft, whatever. Bring in ex-players to talk, like the whole 9 yards.
Right.
So he'll be a good cat for you to link up with. He's part of the LGL family, so you can see him in the group chat, like he's there all the time.
Okay.
David's awesome.
Okay.
He soundproof his room with Vikings blankets to make the sound better. So I know he probably had
how
like
many blankets?
He had a
How
cow.
many blankets?
Well, Vikings blankets are thick, bro, because it's cold up there, bro. I went there one time. I thought my face was going to come off my entire body. I have never been anywhere that cold, except.
Well, I like the purple and gold. I love purple, so I'm for the purple.
I was going to say
gold.
he probably had a cow when we got these. He's like, oh, these guys got purple covers. That's super funny, man. I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you, for coming here and like sharing with the community. You are welcome to mess around in the community, whatever you want. If you have questions, our guys are always here to help you. You got my number. You can call me directly.
Yes,
and,
sir.
I'll fly over and start connecting wires and whatnot. Like,
No, you won't. That's too far.
I'm coming. I'm going to be there in September. I'm gonna.
Are you coming here in September?
Yeah, me and Keith gonna go on a little bike ride, and I'm gonna try to push his ass down. So, I'm gonna have a hard time.
I gotta be a
keeping
part
up
of
with
that. Are you a bike rider like Keith?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Okay, well I don't ride like you guys, but I'll go about 10 miles, then you guys can keep on going. I'll take my
I'm not
GoPro
going
with
past
me.
10 miles. That's
Okay,
Keith.
well, Keith rides
is
like
crazy.
20, 25, 30 miles.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, how you do that?
People are like, hey, are you gonna do? We have a Honolulu Marathon. You can do the Honolulu Marathon, dude. I don't drive 26 miles. There is no freaking way I'm running. That's
Well,
just
Keith
out of
rides
the
like
question.
20 miles, man. I'm like, dude, how do you do that? My
I
butt
try to
hurt-
convince him
start
to
hurting.
live stream from his bike. So don't be surprised if you see the convos come in while he's all LinkedIn tucked, like, hey, everybody, how y'all doing? I don't know what he could do with the second camera because he will try. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what-
Well, he'll get it done. If anybody can do it, Keith can do it. He's the
Oh, my
mad
goodness.
scientist.
That is my G. I propose
there he
we
goes.
challenge Irving to go into Ecamm and host us Ecamm to test 100%. That's true. Yeah, definitely come in and do a practice stream and invite
Okay.
people on and just come and kick it.
Sure.
You can go in the main Ecamm group if you feel like it. You can go in the LGO group if you feel like it. You should have access to to do streams in either one of those, and it's helpful. Like Keely did it the other day. She's in here again. FH umpires, who everyone loves to say Humphreys. I don't know why, but Keely did it the other day. She popped up in the group and just looking cute and like, I just want to practice and run through all of my scenes and talk to people about my thing because she's going to be on with JP High Tech coming up. And so
Okay,
she wanted
yes.
to absolutely, there she goes. She wanted to test out and make sure everything was good. And yeah, she's bomb. She was a field hockey umpire. And yeah, she's
Wow.
the absolute bomb. She's the coolest.
Okay, well, I guess I better pop on and test everything out.
Yeah, get your practice in, press
Keith-
all
Keith-
those buttons.
Yeah, Keith tries to get, because he did that to me. He was over here and we were setting some stuff up, and then all of a sudden, before I knew it, we were live
Oh, he do it all the time. He do it
on
to
the
Miss
con.
Tina.
We were live. He tricked me because he said, "Well, let me test my mic. Let me put my mic over here and let me hook it up. Let's see what it sounds like. Put your headset. And next thing I know, we're live. I'm like, who is that? Who's sending messages? Who's sending comments? What do you mean? We're live? He's like, yeah, we're live. He's trying, because he knows I'm very systemic. I like things to be in order. Yes, we allow for deviation or we allow for some ad-libbing, but I like for things. I'm a very systemic person.
Was
I
that
do things
pre-football or
in order.
after football? Did football teach you to be systemic?
I think it's because of football.
Yeah,
I think
that
it's
makes
because of
sense.
football. Yeah,
I don't think
it's
the
because
average person realize how much plays people got to know. You know, I don't think people realize like all of the
Thousands.
intricacies. The
Yeah,
intricacies.
thousands.
Like audibles.
And then
alone,
you have to do it. You have to do it with somebody in your face on the run.
Yeah.
You have to make adjustments with somebody in your face on the run. So
Dude,
you know,
as
when the
a
ball
safety,
snaps, you got to read
when
defenses.
I tried to learn
yeah.
how to read, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
my coach was beating my butt on the daily because as a safety, I would screw up the read, man. I would just try to run and just take somebody out because I wanted to be that dude. I wanted to be the woo hit guy. I'm the smallest
can't do
safety,
that.
but I was fast. So, you
Right,
know,
right.
I'm like, okay, I got this. I can just outspeed them and get to the ball. I'm a coach like,
Right.
that wasn't the read. I'm like, I intercepted it. He goes, but that wasn't the read. What if you got burnt? I was like, I don't get burnt. Pap, sorry. So, like that was a common occurrence, bro. So like, yeah, I get it.
Well,
You know,
speed does kill. If you can
Yeah, it does.
initiate contact, you're going to last a lot longer.
You know, so last thing I wanted to touch on, and we talked about it a little bit prior to the show, but I think it's something that a lot of people could be interested in, mostly from the effect of getting help after. We talked about, you know, I guess a lot of players now have access to get help when it comes to things about CTE, or just even before we even get to CTE, like Kevin Love, you know, he had bouts of depression and things like that. There's a lot of pressure from the time you get out of high school and the Huskers call you and be like, hey dude, we're going to do this. Like the amount of pressure that you go through to be a top performer in any arena, even something like this live streaming, YouTubers burn out, right? But back when you were, I was gonna say when we, back when you were playing, there's no concept of going to get help, right?
No. Like I said, you know, back in my younger days, you know, coming out of college into the pros, and not really knowing the magnitude of what was happening in my life and the level in which my life had gone to, with the responsibilities that come along with being a professional athlete, man, and they have these programs now for athletes, but man, I needed to really sit down with someone and talk. I needed to sit on someone's couch and really talk, because I was an absolute psychological, emotional mess. Listen, there was a time where, and this is documented, but there was a time where I was playing in a game in New England at home, and I got hurt for, I don't know what exactly the injury was. They took me inside,
Lawrence
and
Taylor.
the trainers the trainers examined me, and then they said that I couldn't play anymore. They said you can't finish out the game. Well, I didn't think I was that hurt. I wanted to finish the game. I was so freaking crazy that I got pissed off. I put my clothes on. The game is still going on now. I put my clothes on, got in my car, and left the facility and went and ran my car 60 miles an hour into a tree on purpose. And guess what happened after that? Nothing. They knew I ran my car on that tree on purpose because I told them. I went to the hospital. I spent the night in the hospital. I had a concussion. I was in practice the next day. Nobody asked me anything. Nobody sat down with me and talked to me. None of that. I had issues that needed to be addressed, and they weren't. But thank God that God's grace is sufficient, because he brought me through. I don't know how I got through those times in my life, younger years, but he brought me through. You know, I'm saved now, and I look back and I understand some of the issues that I had, but man, it was crazy. It was crazy for me, yeah.
Just
but
from
thank
my
God they have
personal
those kind of
heart,
programs
tell me it
now.
wasn't a BMW. Tell me it was a Mercedes.
It was a Mercedes.
Okay, good.
Actually, it buckled over the back tires. I broke the steering wheel with my chest, and the car buckled over the back tires. That's how hard I hit that tree.
Oh my goodness, bruh. That is, man, that is crazy.
So listen. They have the concussion protocol now. They have the lawsuit out for the concussion, you know, guys who have played who are suffering from CTE. I've taken those tests, thank God. And I have 12 documented concussions, meaning I come from an era where when you got dinged, when you got a concussion, okay, you get some smell of sauce and you go back in the game. That's the era I come from. So I have 12 documented, which were full-fledged concussions that were recorded, but I have many more than that.
Are the juice though, right?
Huh?
The micro ones are the juice. That's what gets you.
Yes.
The tiny ones.
I got a bunch of micro ones. So, but nothing is wrong. I've had all the tests. I'm fine. I don't get any money from the concussion settlement. Why? Because I don't have any symptoms. I'm doing just fine. Thank God. And I don't want any symptoms because in order to get money from that concussion settlement, you got to be almost
That was the man
drooling.
upstairs protecting you. That was the man upstairs taking care of you.
Of course.
All right, so we're going to end this on a happier note. All right, so which
happy. I'm good.
Which DB was your nemesis?
The DB that was my nemesis, and you'll probably know this. Most of the viewers may not. His name was Raymond Claiborne. He was actually my teammate when I was in New England. Raymond Claiborne. Now, when I left the University of Nebraska, I was a wingback, so I was in a 3-point stance. I wasn't your prototypical wide receiver standing up in a 2-point stance, split out and running routes. I was more of a blocker. I was more of a running back that caught the ball, so to speak. I did a lot of blocking for Mike Rozier. So when I got to the NFL in my rookie year, I had to learn, and I didn't have a real good position coach at the time. I had to learn, I'm standing up, and I got this guy standing right in front of me, how to get around him and run my route. So it was more athletic ability my first few years in New England than it was, skill. And Raymond Claiborne was a Pro Bowl corner, and he was taller than me. He had long arms, and he was just as fast as me. And he was a problem because I had to go against him every day. And he didn't like me. So, because I was a first round draft choice, first one taken in the draft in the first round that particular year. He didn't like me because he didn't want me coming in and making him look bad. So he stayed after me. We got in fights after fights all the time. He was my nemesis because I had to go against him every day. So I couldn't bring the same stuff every day. I had to come up with something new. I had to be creative. And I had to try to do it with someone who had obviously more experience than me, but just as much speed as me.
It's funny. You normally don't expect to hear it from somebody that was on your team. You would think it's somebody that you played against, but because you got to practice with him every day, that makes more logical sense to me.
Yeah. But that's what made me better was because every day in practice, I'd go home frustrated. Can you imagine that? I know people don't like their jobs, but I got a guy beating my behind every day when I go to work. He's trying to keep me from doing my job. Can you imagine that? You go to work and you got somebody standing across from you at your desk slapping you in the head?
Man, that's...
So, yeah, he was my nemesis for years. For about my first 5 years in the league, every day going to work, every day in practice, every day in training camp, Raymond Claiborne was there whooping my behind.
Oh, that's just awesome. Keely said that, dang, Dr. Fryar, I had concussions from field hockey, boxing to sports as a side. Yeah, that's a true story. And then my other sis, Miss D, came up in here to make fun of me because she was teasing me yesterday because my old lady's getting her black belt pretty soon, so she's in her practice, and of course she likes to practice on me. So she said that Karen gave Doc a concussion with a roundhouse kick last year because last year
so you did?
No, I fell in the shower, okay?
Oh.
And was super jacked up.
You going to stick with that story? You going to stick with that story?
Not you too. That's what Miss D said. Miss D was like, Karen was like, clean the bathroom. And I was like, girl, shut up. I got a stream. And she was like, pap. I come to the stream, yo. I had the thing on my neck, bro. I had the medicine. So like, I'm all half high. But I told them I would show up for the stream. So I'm going to show up. And I was like blabbering for like an hour. And so Miss D in India, they be clowning me saying what happened was really Karen kicked my butt. But she does like to practice on me, and I can say from the time she started to now, them joints hurt now. Before it used to be cute. Oh, my baby, she get her little karate. And she's like for real Okinawan, like she's not a pretend Okinawan. So the whole thing was to like owe it back to the culture and like, do her thing. And she 4'11". So first of all,
she got something to prove.
Yeah. So them kicks is in a dangerous spot anyway because she's short. And then now they actually hurt. And I try not to tell her. I just like, nah, that was good. You're a little bit slow. But, And I go in the room and I'm just like, damn, son, that hurt. Like, it's like when Darryl Green decleats you and you just get up real quick. Come on, son. That's all you got. And then you walk over to the sideline. You're like, coach, let me rest.
Yeah. Yep, yeah. And you know what? That's the era I'm from. Guys like Andre Tippett and John Hanna, Steve Nelson, linebacker, they would tell me, listen, boy, if you get hurt, don't you lay on that field. You get your behind up and get to the sidelines. You better not lay down on the field. So, I mean, Steve Nelson, I remember he jacked his knee up and he would not allow anybody to help him. He made his way off the field onto the bench. That's when you can get looked at, but you better not lay on the field. That's the era that I came from.
Freaking Keith, subpoena Doc's ring cameras so y'all know the truth and believe Diana's story.
So we can see the real deal.
That's foul. It's foul. I just slipped on the hair conditioner, bruh. Come on. Come on. You guys are killing me. Gang, first of all, make sure you check out the Fryar place. That's going to be coming up for you starting in July. I can just tell you there's going to be fantastic fire stories. To me, I know for me personally, doing my podcast was like my own self-therapy. And then coming here to help these guys and doing my class every weekend is like therapy to me, you know, because they give me ideas, they push me, they make me work harder, you know, they remind me I'm doing this for a reason, right? I have I'm doing it with intent and purpose, you know, that's my thing. So yeah, you will find doing this podcast will be one of the greatest things that you've ever done. Like, trust me.
I believe you. I believe you. I look forward to it.
Saves so much money on paying some dude to lay on the couch and be like, look at this ink spot. They look like ink, fool. What the hell am I supposed to see?
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see that ink spot?
Dirty piece of paper. What? You know? Yeah. When we had to do that in the Army, they did not like me because I was like, who the hell came up with these tests? They just look like somebody don't know how to use their laser printer. What's a laser printer? Never mind, but that's what it looks like, you know? I was a nerd for a long time. You want me to laugh, make him switch his camera. Why are you bothering the man?
He wants me to switch my camera.
Why he making trouble?
Keith, how does Keith know I got all my cameras on?
Yeah, Keith, how you know he got all his cameras on?
Now you see my setup. Can you see that? Oh, I got to put that on.
Here,
I'm sorry.
I can do this.
There it goes.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you got the Keith cam. Oh,
yeah,
that's why. See, he think he's.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to do that. I got you up. I got you up over here.
See,
that's why I'm watching you.
Good.
And I got a tilly put up here so I can see you. That's right over my teleprompter where I have my camera. So I'm looking kind of at you while we're talking rather than looking over here to the side.
I see.
But yeah,
I see.
This
You've
is Keith. This is all Keith's doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been to the Keith training school for sure.
Then I got another camera over here to the side.
You can. There you go.
Right there.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah. This is all. Listen, I watch Keith and I start spending money. Keith costs me money all the time. Every time I see him,
I'm glad you blame him because I get blamed for it. So
no. I see Keith and I say, okay, yeah, I want that. I gotta get that. And then next thing you know, my wife's Tilly put. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. I say Lily put. I must have said Lily put.
Keith making trouble. Don't listen.
I said Lily put. I said Tilly put. Well, you know what I meant.
Yeah, don't listen to Keith.
He making fun of me.
To your setup.
You know, I told you I'm low tech, just above no tech.
And you know what? You should keep that. That is a super dope saying. I like that. Low tech, just above no tech. All right.
Yeah, just above no tech.
Gang,
that's
everybody,
me.
Please give a warm aloha and thank you to. I'm gonna always call you the Reverend Doctor because I don't know why.
I appreciate. Look, you're Doc. I call you Doc. You're Doc. You are the man. Listen, let me tell you, you are the man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely
really
crushing it. Welcome to the ECAM family. If you need anything whatsoever, you can hit us up. I will send you an invite to come and check out our class. We get the Drop Squad together every Saturday. And it basically stands for Doc Rock Peak Performers. These are all of the people that swore up and down that they're going to push their streaming limits and they're not going to do excuses and be like, I can't, or this is hard, and blah, 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 blah.
No, so, push the button.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, that's my boy Fanzo. Push the damn button. Miss D.
Push the button.
If you follow her, Diana Gladney is my sis right there. She is the bomb. She had a fantastic Instagram post yesterday which I absolutely love, and I'm going to screw this up, so I'll paraphrase it. But it was something to the nature of, learning all this camera stuff was very hard until I learned it. Learning how to use, Panasonic versus Canon was hard until I learned it. Learning how to use a Sony and get Sony was so different was super hard until I learned it. Learning cures all excuses. And I'm like, bruh, I almost spiked my phone because that joint was fire. I was like, oh, wait, that's my $1,200
yes,
phone.
It does.
I was getting ready to slam the phone on the ground and be like, you go, girl.
It's like I was telling this to Keith one time. You don't know that you don't know until you know. Then once you know, you realize that you didn't know.
Biggie wouldn't have been able to say that with his lisp. He would have got stuck. Sorry, Biggie. Love you, bro.
I use an illustration. I'm driving down the road one day with my daughter, and I must have been looking around or something or squinting. And she looked at me and said, "Can you see?" And I said, "Yeah, I can see. What's the problem? The street sign's right there." She said, "No, you can't see. You can't see." So she took her glasses off and she put her glasses on my face. Then I could see. But I didn't know that I couldn't see because I thought I could see, but I really couldn't see. But I didn't know I couldn't see until I could see.
See, that's fire. And then now you hit the trifecta though. Now you get the BB spectacles. You got the bald, the bearded, and the B spectacles. So you're set. You read the street, as we say out in these streets. Gang, I'm gonna play the intro. The theme song, and we're Ghost. Thank you so much, Doc, for being here. Like, I appreciate you,
Doc.
fam.
Thank you.
Like,
I'm gonna send you my address too, so I can get that Ecamm gear.
Press and So will be contacting you. We'll get you on like Donkey Kong. And again, if you need anything whatsoever, you know how to find us. People, don't forget, coming up for you Saturday, you guys going to be stuck with me. And then I got Rosemary Orchard coming up. We're going to talk about podcasting and Mac automation. Like, man, we on a theme again with these podcast situations. And again, don't forget, lock your calendars up, show some love, and help out another LGL family member. We're going to be at the Fryar place making trouble. And like when the crew show up, they're going to bother you. So just be ready. The crew will show up.
Okay.
And they will bother you. And they'll be like, hey. So, yeah, my people show up everywhere, especially like Kevin and Camera Junkie and Keely. They be everywhere. I think they in the closet somewhere. They just pop out. Hey, yo, what it do?
What you doing?
They always there. Rob, too. He's another one. Everywhere. Rob just pop up out of nowhere. And he'd be like, what's up, gang? How y'all doing? So I appreciate our family. We will show you your love and support. We're happy to have you as part of our squad. And again, the community is yours, man. If you want to practice, jump in. Hey, I'm nervous about this. Jump in. Somebody's always around. Young Sammy is up 24 hours a day. I don't think that little kid sleeps. He's always around. So we'll get you taken care of, anything you need. And then you don't have to listen to Keith because it probably take you an hour to get away from him. I love you, Keith.
Keith likes to stay up late too, man. I don't know. Listen, my bedtime's 9 o'clock. I'm in the bed at 9 o'clock. I don't stay up late.
And then if you invite David Hunt on your stream, he will play hoop triggers every time you hit the good one. He'll be with his keyboard, just every time.
Okay. Nice. Uh-oh.
We'll be getting it.
The shouting music? We're shouting?
Oh, dude. That's my man right there. Here, let me, I lost my theme music messing with y'all. Let me play the theme music out, gang. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Doc. Hang tight while we're doing the outro. I see you guys Saturday. And don't forget Thursday, we have This Week in Live. Come and check out me and Miss D making trouble. Come and check us out. Aloha, gang. Let's get it.
How I love this city of mine. It never gets me down, yeah.
I was born in the city, I was raised on its edges. My pop worked his life when it's complex. I found love in its center. If I could live here forever, think it'd be for the better. I love the weather, even though it's fog 24/7. I love the people. This is the city I met all my best friends, and I wanna